And game one is in the books, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Blue Review. Of course, I am Parker Bell. I don't know why I said of course. You don't know me yet. You might not know me.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
Parker
Everyone
Bell.
knows you.
Well, some people think I'm Gavin Lux, but that's beside the point. I'm here with Greg Bergman, Corporate
Inside
Greg.
joke.
I'm here with Marcus Grant as well. Thank you for joining us. So the Dodgers get the game one victory in Seoul. We have a bunch of stuff to get to. Greg, I know you mentioned wasn't the most exciting of games, but something's happened, and we'll get into those.
Sure. And I'll first of all, 162-0 is that's where we're going with this, right?
That's what's happening now. Yeah, it's on the board.
It's 162-0. It's still alive, and I think that's the most important thing out of all of it.
Yes,
but
we're on the way.
Tell us about LAX, and then we'll get into it.
Let's do it, guys. So the Blue Review, as always, is presented by LAX. Over there at Los Angeles International Airport, they're changing just the travel experience. They're reducing traffic, saving guest time. So if you want to learn more, you can check that out at flylax.com/transforminglax. Let's get into Dodgers talk, guys. So Greg, Marcus, I'll let you two just kind of take this away, your initial reactions.
So I'm going to be straight up honest. I did not wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was just not something that was going to happen, Marcus. I couldn't do it. I tried. I set my alarm and I saw it and I said, no, I'm going back to bed. So I've been watching, but basically I've watched a bunch of it and I've been watching the game in my office for a lot of the time this morning too. It was a badly played game. It was just a badly played baseball game. You can tell it was game one of the season in an entirely different country, and they just weren't as sharp as they would like to be. I mean, it was all singles. There was no extra base hits whatsoever. The Padres walked 8 guys. Tyler Glasnow walked 3. It was poorly pitched. It was a very early season game, but they came away with. I saw a bunch of stuff that I liked though, and I liked the fact that Mookie Betts was on base 3 times. I liked that Shohei got 2 hits and a stolen base. I liked that Daniel Hudson pitched in a game because he's been injured for so much, and that's something that's, if he's going to be healthy, that's huge for this bullpen. I also like that Evan Films had a clean save at the end of the game. Those types of things to me are important.
Yeah, no, I think those are all good things to point out. Look, you mentioned the fact that there are no extra base hits, and yes, you would like to see this team. We know this team has some sock in the lineup, right, up and down the lineup, but it was sort of nice to see, even in game one, them just sort of grind out a win. They were down 2-1 for a good long while, and going back, and I'm with you. I didn't wake up. I watched the highlights. I've read the box scores. I've read the wraps. I'll go back and watch the game in full probably later today. But going back and seeing that rally was walk, walk, and then single. I think one of them was actually technically a fielder's choice because so as much as we talked about Gavin Lux's defense, he sort of took advantage of Jake Cronenworth's bad glove.
How does that happen?
Boy.
Did you see it?
I have never seen it. I actually can pull up the video in about 10, 30 seconds.
I mean, it was just it was like the webbing. Basically, the webbing on his glove was lying to him. Is what happened there. The ball just literally went right through the webbing of his first baseman's glove. It was funny too because when I saw the play, I saw the highlight. You see the ball get by Cronenworth, and he looks down at his glove. Sometimes fielders will look down at the glove like, I can't believe you betrayed me. And then I saw it. I was like, oh no, he really did get lied to by his glove. I mean, it was in the webbing and went through.
But speaking of that webbing, sorry, I was talking to Travis about it this morning, and because he was a baseball player, he's a pitcher, he played it a lot. Those gloves, the way that they're built is that you don't know that anything's going to happen until it just falls apart. There's not anything that's going to change about that. He couldn't pull on it or do anything that's going to change what that was going to happen. That just happens. Maybe it's poorly made, but it had to hit. The only way it would have been worse is if he would have, and it would have happened if this happened. Let's say, Ha-Seong Kim threw a ball to Cronenworth at first base, and he put his glove up in front of his face. It would have gone through the glove. Yikes. Because that ball by Gavin Lux was not hit hard in the slightest. It just went
if you want, Greg, we could take a look real quick.
Sure.
He bounces one. That's off the glove of Cronenworth.
I mean, that's a double play ball.
That is easily a double play.
That's what I actually wanted to talk about. So because the fact that was a double play ball, they would be out of that inning. It would still be 2-1. Look at that. Just right through. A not hard hit ball at all goes right through. But because that ball
Right
that
through
happened.
the webbing.
This is what this Dodgers team is going to be
Yes.
doing when they see that one thing, when they get a hold of something that could just one mistake, they're going to take advantage and just go bang, 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 and just start getting through. Because then Mookie had a RBI single, and so did Shohei. It just, it opens up the floodgates. One thing for this Dodger team to just hold on to.
Yeah, and I think, look, this is also though a thing that good teams do, right? You take that one little mistake and you amplify it, and they were able to do that. And so, like I said, the games will come when they will hit 3, 4, 5 home runs, right? But today, the fact that they were just able to just kind of string together singles to take these little things like the Cronenworth glove malfunction, his wardrobe malfunction, and just make it hurt a little bit. I think that is something sort of encouraging. And then, as you mentioned, look, the bullpen was strong. Phillips coming out and mowing them down in the ninth. Glasnow was good enough.
Good enough.
Did not get a lot of swings and misses, which is normally his stock in trade.
Not 10Ks
so
like I called for.
Yeah, exactly. But there are things to build on. It's game one of a really, really long season. Like we said, 162-0 is still on the board. So there's that.
Yes, it's all still there. And we've talked about just them playing in Seoul and how much of it was a mistake. This game kind of proves that, right? It proves that this was maybe not the best play, like the spectacle of it all and just being in another country and everything about it was great. But the baseball is bad, and the baseball wasn't played very well. And that's because they also just don't want to be there anymore. They've been there for a week. They had to take a week off to get over there. And then they're going to have another week off before the real games start again. It just seems like it's counterintuitive to me.
I mean, it's like I said, when I first joined this show, is that I don't really understand the purpose of Major League Baseball doing this, other than like, hey, it was cool to see Shohei be treated like an absolute god when he got to the airport. But I mean, look, I say this as somebody who watches the NFL closely, that the NFL has been very strategic with its games that they put in other places, right? I mean, they have spent the last decade plus building a fan base in Europe, right? Starting with the London games, and now they're expanding to Berlin, and now eventually they're going to start doing games in like Brazil, and they've gone to Mexico with the goal of sort of expanding American football to those markets and building fan bases there. They already are fans of baseball in Korea and Japan. They already play it. They play it at a high level over there. They are sending their stars to us to come to America to play. So taking those regular season games and putting them in another country, I don't really understand what the end game is for Major League Baseball. And then you do run the risk, as you mentioned, of guys being over there for a week, sort of being fatigued and then having to come back. If I remember right, I'd have to go back and look. I feel like when the A's and Mariners went to Japan a few years ago, I feel like both those teams kind of got off to slow starts when they got back to the States. I'd have to double check that, but I feel like that was a thing that they went over there, they played a couple games, they came back, and neither one of those teams really started all that quickly afterwards.
No, and like when the Dodgers went to Australia, I know we've brought this up before, but when the Dodgers went to Australia and it played, I think it was the Padres, maybe it was the Diamondbacks, I don't remember who it was, but that was when Clayton Kershaw was on a flight for too long and his back started hurting. Now, is that the reason why his back is a problem now today? I don't know, but the fact is that kind of was the start to all of it, and now his back has been a problem for years and years and years because it just being on a flight for that long and doing, and especially like you said, it's going to a place that baseball is already big. It's already, baseball is a worldwide sport, whereas football is really just an American sport. So for them to start expanding slowly and in different countries, and they're semi-close, that makes sense. And they also did something that I really like too. They sent the Jags there and they left them there for like 3 weeks. So they can just be acclimated and be a part of the culture and be doing all of that. That made sense to me. But this, what Major League Baseball is doing, doesn't make any sense because there's just nothing over there that they need to grab onto. It's already big.
Some good food though.
Oh, I'm sure the food's amazing. There's plenty to see, there's plenty to eat, plenty to do. I'm sure all that stuff is amazing over there.
Yeah, half the content that we've been seeing while they're out there it's not even baseball. It's just the food, and well, it's good to see they're having fun. I think you make a great point, Greg. It's just an interesting way to go about it. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how game 2 goes, but was there anything in this game outside of well, actually, back to Glasnow a little bit. How did we feel? Do we feel that it's mainly just okay, they went to Korea and it's not necessarily what we're going to expect this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the trip over there. I think it's the fact that look, usually this time of year, hitting is ahead of pitching a little bit. That's not really a surprise. I was sort of watching some of the recaps. Harold Reynolds on on MLB Network sort of pointed out that there were some times where I think Glass now kind of pitched himself into trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe not attacking hitters the way he normally would mid-season. You mentioned the walks, Greg. I mean, just maybe sort of dabbling and nibbling here where, I think when he's finally ramped up to speed, we get to May and June, instead of trying to be sneaky with like a 3-2 slider, he's just coming right after guys. And so maybe some of that had to factor into it. So I'm not reading into it too much. My goal for Glass now is, man, can you give us 170, 180 innings? That's kind of what I'm hoping for right now.
Yeah, I just want to have him, 20, 25 starts and to get those, have those innings up. That's all I want as well. And I think this is just game 1 of a 162 game season, and he wasn't sharp yet. And also, shorten your spring training is a little bit different because you had to fly and he probably missed a start, possibly a second one. So I think, it's just that to me. Dead Meow, who loves me very, very much. Any concern that they are already leaving a lot of people on base again? Then again, it's no game, but it's one game, but that is there. I don't know what it says after that. Either way, for me, I don't know about you, Marcus. No, it does not concern me whatsoever. It's everything we've been saying. It's the shortened preseason. It's being in another country and having to come back and not really being in your normal routine and your normal, like when you go places, like when you're at home a lot of the time, or you go to Cincinnati, you're there for 3-4 days. You're comfortable in those situations. I think this is just going to come. It's going to happen. I mean, everybody, there was either team singles. It was singles and sack flies. So I think that'll all change as we go on.
Yeah. I will say what is encouraging that rally in the 8th inning, they scored 4 runs. It started with bases loaded and nobody out. And I don't know about you. I feel like there have been times in the past years where like bases loaded, nobody out. It felt like begging just to get a run out of those situations sometimes. So the fact that they were able to string together some hits, put in score 4 runs is refreshing. Also, it felt like a little bit like last year for both these teams in the sense that last year the Padres gave up a lot of late leads. The Dodgers came back a lot of times late in the ball game. It's hard to extrapolate a whole season out of one game, but I think for both those sides, for both those fan bases, it kind of felt like a little bit of deja vu all over again.
Yeah, just another time around.
So we had some people in the chat, and I see that even a couple of them were awake for the game. So as always, you can send some questions for us. I am very proud of the people who are up and are up now, enjoying the
Blue still
review.
up. Yeah, exactly. Like
exactly.
That's the point. It's one thing to get up, to still be up. Good on you.
So this clip kind of went a little viral. I know it was just ended up being a second strike. I don't have the video off the top of my hand, but I see Brian Ahmad in the chat mentioning. He says, "Did Ohtani have to pay for the hole he made in the roof?"
Yeah, Ohtani pays for nothing ever,
right? Especially in Korea or Japan, I'm sure he's they will cover that for him.
Yes,
he'll
and
be all right.
he walks down the street and they just hand him things. They're like,
here's a baby.
Right, that's yours now.
What I do have though, and I wanted to kind of put this up, was we were mentioning in that 8th, they got on a little run. Of course, the glove helped, but Ohtani did get his first RBI as a Dodger. So we could go ahead and kind of show that on the screen here, just and react to it because it's good. It's big news. Ohtani got his first.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We need to talk a little bit. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot of time to talk about Ohtani, but sure, we have to talk about Ohtani.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look here.
And Ohtani, a little blooper in the left. That's going to get down.
I love the fact that it was Oppo.
Another run for the Dodgers. The top of the order crushes as Gavin Lux touches home.
Anywhere. That was a much softer hit ball than the one that he had earlier. That was 112 off the bat for a single on his first single as a Dodger. So, I mean, I liked a lot of those things.
100%. And, you know, like he took a picture down and in. You mentioned he goes the opposite way with it. And it just was sort of a reminder that there aren't a lot of holes, right, to get him out. There aren't a lot of spots you can throw the ball to consistently get him out. I also love it. Just a little thing, right? I mean, there's such a joy, right? When he stands there and he does the new dance or whatever.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Are you a fan of this song?
I don't know if I love that. You know, I know we talked about it. Like he does the head bop and then he does the little dance, but he just he has such joy to him, right? And that kind of makes me happy. Weird thing, and maybe this is me being grouchy. Is it weird that they have Guggenheim on the side of their helmets?
It's so weird.
Ooh.
They're the jersey sponsor now. Like they didn't sell it to anybody else. They put Guggenheim there.
I
So
mean, that's just weird, right?
It's very, very strange, and I'm glad you brought it up because does Guggenheim pay themselves to put that on there? Like, do they pull money out of what they get to put
I
that
don't
in?
know. I mean, it would be like if the Yankees just put Steinbrenner like on everything, you know? Like it just felt weird. I saw that this morning. I'm like, that's odd to me.
It's a very weird thing, but like, you know, do you know what Guggenheim was beforehand? Did it make you go Google it?
I mean, I
know
just
they own
knew
the
it.
Dodgers.
I know. I mean, isn't it like a fancy museum, like in New York or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know
I
there's a Guggenheim Museum.
I think they do like strategies and things like that. So there actually is something behind what they do, but
I would think so. Yes.
yeah. So, but it's just very funny. I'm totally with you.
So there are Guggenheim museums in different places around the world. I think the main one is in New York, but there's Guadalajara, Mexico, Las Vegas, Spain, Italy. They have satellite offices, I guess, across the world.
Wow. Hey, well, what's
Yeah.
next? The Los Angeles Guggenheims across the chest.
I mean,
Come on, Guggenheims. Be careful.
Can we?
Guys.
I mean, we can get an LA-based museum, right? Can we just get the Getty? Put the Getty across there or something like that.
there we go,
LACMA,
yeah.
you know, the LA LACMAs or something. I don't know.
Absolutely. Before we go further, Parker,
Yeah.
I love that sweatshirt. I don't know where you got it, but I need one. Marcus, your
you.
Vin. Yeah, no, not
Yeah,
Parker.
yeah.
No. Because you have the hat too. I mean, I always love your hat.
Yeah.
You have the Vin hat, but you got the Vin sweatshirt. That's a good
Which-
hoodie.
Yeah, thanks. Which I think I found like years ago. Like I don't know, it might have been like an Instagram ad or something that popped up, and I'm like, "Yep, we're buying this."
This is happening. Yeah. All right.
The Instagram ads always get us. And
Always.
Marcus, if you want the hat to complete the fit, I'd be happy to pass that along to you.
Absolutely, please do.
You know, we did have a couple questions in the chat. There was one from Carlos Sanchez, and this was kind of on a topic we were speaking on earlier. He says, what other countdowns, I'm not sure what he means here, what other countdowns do you see them visiting in the future? I think
Countries.
he meant countries.
Yes.
Have they done Mexico yet, he asks.
For
Baseball?
regular season, I don't know if they've done regular season games in
But
Mexico.
then, but again, so the whole point of going to these different countries is to grow the game and let it be seen. There are Mexican leagues, there are Dominican leagues, it's a big sport down there. I mean, I think who is it? Robinson Cano, I think, is playing in the Mexican leagues right now.
Mhm.
Like it's a part of their culture. Baseball is a part of it is a worldwide. You can't. I don't know what Antarctica maybe. Like where are we gonna go? That's gonna.
So I'm
grow
looking.
the
So there are international games this year. Obviously, we have the Seoul series right now. Astros and Rockies will play in Mexico City in late April. Mets and Phillies will play 2 games in London in June, and the Red Sox and Rays will play in the Dominican Republic. That's the next. I guess that was during spring training, so that already happened. So you got Seoul, you got Mexico City, and you've got London all on tap this year.
I actually really like the London series.
London
I
should
know
be
we were talking
interesting.
about the NFL thing, but just baseball in general, I think has a chance out there at least. Because
Sure,
to your
if there's
point,
a
Greg, I
spot.
know it's already big in other places, but I think there's a spot for it there in the UK.
Let's put it this way. Baseball is back in the Olympics. It is an Olympic sport again, which means that the countries around the world are all playing baseball and playing in the Olympics. We don't have football in the Olympics. So them trying to expand makes sense.
I always thought it was funny too. I mean, some of these countries don't necessarily have enough of a presence in the sport to like really field teams. Because I remember, like, wasn't it like the Italian team? Basically, they were taking like Americans of Italian descent, basically for a while. Like I think Mike Piazza played for like Team Italy or something like that in an international competition. Yeah, I mean. So, I mean, I guess that part's kind of fun. I do think London's going to be interesting. The one time I was ever in London many, many years ago, I felt like walking around, I saw a lot of people wearing Yankees hats, although I think that was more of a fashion statement than any sort of declaration of fandom. but you know, I don't know, maybe there's something there. Who knows?
I hate that, by the way. DeAndre Hawkins, the producer DeAndre, he wears San Francisco Giants hats because he likes the fit. And it's just like, you stop coming into an ESPN LA studio with a San Francisco Giant hat, and you don't even like the Giants.
He doesn't know baseball. He doesn't know baseball.
Sometimes I will wear hats from teams I'm not a fan of just for fashion purposes, but there are limits, right? Like, I won't wear a Giants hat. I won't as a USC alum. I won't wear any UCLA stuff even if it looks cool. Like, I can't. It is against my moral code to do that. But you know, I think I've got I got an Orioles hat that was kind of nice. I've got an old Expos hat that I think is kind of dope. But you know, like I'm not gonna rock any Giants stuff. Yeah.
No. You never. The rivals never. I will never ever wear anything USC. I stay away from red in general.
So how about as we have a few minutes here, I kind of wanted to just touch on what I felt was a cool story. The first pitch for this morning's game, Chan-Ho Park.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool.
You know,
moment,
it's like
right?
worlds colliding. You get, former Dodger. You get, the Korean aspect of it. No, I think that's absolutely cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
And he also played for the Padres, so it made sense. What was it? It's like Podgers on the jersey.
He had the dual jersey action.
I forgot he was a Padre for a moment.
So it makes sense, but I mean, he's a Dodger, right? Like Chan-Ho Park is a Dodger
for sure, forever.
He should have just worn just the Dodger jersey. He doesn't need to wear that Padres nonsense. He is a Dodger.
He's a Dodger. Yeah, I forgot he was 2 seasons with the Padres. I completely forgotten about that. Yeah.
And I mean, is he in any way associated with the Padres now, or am I mistaken? Like, I thought I saw something that he might have some sort of role.
So I mean, it might make sense, but I have no idea. I have not paid attention to Chan-Ho Park.
Yeah, Chan-Ho Park. Yeah,
his post-career aspirations.
It's funny because I don't know how much he was around the Dodgers this spring, but the Dodgers have made it a point to bring back a lot of the old guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, seeing Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp and Eric Karros, and they've done a really good job of trying to really sort of have that connective tissue to some of the great teams and great players of the past. Like, I really love it. Keep those guys engaged. I mean, I just think it sort of helps to kind of build that legacy and build that mystique around the club to have those guys back again. And even now, like, those guys can sort of share in the success of the current players. You know, I mean, for all the great things Matt Kemp did, I mean, he never really got to play like in one World Series, that whole time. So it's kind of cool to have these guys come back and kind of share in some of that success too.
Yeah, same. I mean, Andre Ethier has never really left Dodger Stadium. He's always around too. So I love having all those old dudes. I don't understand why more teams don't do that. And I know, like, in college, it's a big thing. UCLA, when they bring people back to talk to the team or just kind of hang out with them, that's a big deal. I never understood why you wanted to take away from your history. Like, Sandy Koufax was always at spring training for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think especially for like the legacy clubs too. I mean, like, I don't know how many people the Diamondbacks are bringing back around, but I don't know. I just think the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, those kinds of teams. Cubs, like, why wouldn't you Cubs? Yeah, why wouldn't you want your Hall of Famers and your great players to just come back and hang out?
Makes way too much sense.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank everyone, of course, for tuning in. We're going to have to call it an end here, even though we want to kind of keep talking about this W. But we got another matchup tomorrow, at 3:05. So I see in the chat, JF saying Dodger fans are the best. You can see on the news that there's a whole bunch of viewing parties. So, I mean, you could stay tapped in. I think I might, for this one, be on the social medias for ESPN LA. So I'll be live reacting with you guys. Greg, if you're up, you could be live reacting too. But I just want to thank everyone again for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat cave, all that good stuff. Marcus, thank you. Greg, thank you. Maybe if you were up, get some rest, and we'll see you tomorrow. This has been the Blue Review.